When it comes to building digital products, there's this constant, relentless push to just get things done, to deliver. But what if that focused on just shipping it is actually setting you up for a massive failure down the road? Today, we're going to dig into the huge difference between just delivering a project and taking real, honest responsibility for its future.
Okay, so let's break this down. It's really a tale of two mindsets. Over here on the left, you've got the delivery mindset. This is all about speed. Hit the launch date, close the project, move on to the next thing. And you know what? It feels super productive. But then on the right, you have the responsibility mindset. This is totally different. It's about thinking beyond the launch, protecting the project for the long haul, and actually caring about what happens after the big day. Believe me, these two paths lead to wildly different places.
So that brings us to something I call the delivery trap. It's this powerful, almost magnetic pull in the business world to put speed above everything else. We're all conditioned to see a finished project as a win, right? But so often, that victory is actually just the start of a much, much bigger headache. And that's because, at its core, most digital work is optimized for just one thing: delivery. That's it. It doesn't matter if you're the client or the developer. The whole system is geared towards hitting that finish line. It creates this powerful illusion that we're making progress, but what it's really doing is hiding some serious problems just beneath the surface. And this is what that looks like in practice. It's a simple checklist mentality. Did we launch on time? Check. Is the project officially off our plate? Check. Can we shuffle the team onto the next fire drill? Check. It's a cycle that feels incredibly efficient, but it completely ignores the most important questions. Is this thing we just built actually any good? Is it stable? Can it grow?
So let's talk about the consequences, because this obsession with speed, well, it comes with a pretty hefty price tag. The problem is these costs are almost never obvious right away. They're hidden, and they build up over time, like debt, until one day, bam, the bill comes due.
Which brings us to this really critical question. What's the actual cost of choosing to build fast instead of building smart? We're not just talking about a few bugs here and there. We're talking about the fundamental, long-term health of the very thing you just spent so much time and money creating.
And this is exactly what that rush to the finish line is hiding. You end up with a shaky foundation that just can't handle any real growth. You've got systems that are so tangled and complex that making one tiny change becomes this huge, week-long ordeal. Critical things like performance and SEO, yeah, those become massive emergencies months after you've launched. And your team, the people you want innovating and building cool new things, they're just stuck playing whack-a-mole, patching up old mistakes instead of creating new value.
And here's the real kicker, the ultimate irony of the delivery trap. That shortcut you took to save time at the beginning, it almost always forces you into a long, painful, and way more expensive process of rebuilding it all from scratch later. You think you're saving time today, but you're just borrowing it from tomorrow at a ridiculously high interest rate.
Now, this is the key. The pain is delayed. Everything looks great on launch day. Champagne corks are popping. The problems don't show up until you try to add a new feature, or when traffic suddenly spikes. And by then, that quick and easy solution has become a deeply embedded, very expensive mistake. It's this delay that makes the trap so easy and so common to fall into.
All right, so how do we break out of this cycle? Well, it's not about a new tool or process. It's a fundamental shift in how we think. We have to move from just thinking about short-term delivery to embracing long-term responsibility. It's all about thinking beyond that initial checklist. And this is what we're talking about. Digital responsibility isn't just some corporate buzzword. It's a real professional practice. It means having the guts to raise your hand and flag a risk, even if it might slow things down. And it means truly owning the technical choices you make, because you know, they'll have an impact long after the project is done. I mean, this says it all, doesn't it? You can deliver a product that checks every single box on the requirements list and still watch it crash and burn in the real world. But a product built with responsibility, that's different. That one is designed from its very DNA to survive, to adapt, and to thrive. And it really comes down to these two core principles. First, you've got to focus on architecture before aesthetics. Think about it. You have to design the blueprint for the house before you start picking out throw pillows, right? And second, you have to build real, robust systems instead of just patching things together with shortcuts that are guaranteed to break down the road. Okay, let's make this super practical. How can you, right now, start spotting these bad decisions before they turn into costly disasters? We're going to walk through 5 huge red flags that you should be looking for on any project. But first, a quick warning.
These red flags are sneaky. They almost never show up looking like obvious mistakes. No, they usually show up disguised as something good, something smart. They'll be called fast or efficient. And that's exactly what makes them so dangerous.
Okay, red flag number 1. The calendar is calling the shots. If the main reason someone gives for a major technical decision is, well, we have to launch by the end of the quarter, you are in deep trouble. The timeline should be the result of a good plan, not the driver of a bad one.
Red flag number 2 is a classic. This is like planning out all the furniture, the art, the light fixtures for a house that doesn't have a foundation yet. When you decide what you're building in detail before you figured out how it's all going to work together, you're basically guaranteeing you'll have to tear down walls later on.
Oh, this is a big one. Anytime you hear someone say, we'll worry about SEO later, or let's just get it launched, we can make it scale after we get users, that's a massive red flag. Things like performance, scalability, and search visibility, they aren't features you can just sprinkle on at the end. They have to be baked into the core of the product from day one.
Now pay close attention to this one. Every single good decision in technology involves a trade-off. It's a balancing act. You might trade a little bit of performance for a faster development time, or the other way around. If your team can't clearly tell you what you're giving up to get something else, it's a sure sign they haven't actually thought the decision all the way through.
And finally, watch out for getting locked into a path too soon. The absolute costliest mistakes are the ones that are nearly impossible to undo. A responsible team will always try to make reversible, flexible decisions early on, keeping your options open for as long as possible. They don't paint themselves or you into a corner. So, the big takeaway from all this is that you don't have to be a tech genius to spot these problems. Not at all. You just need to feel empowered to ask the right questions. Your job isn't to have the answers, it's to question the why behind every major decision.
And this leads us to the single most important change you can make. Stop measuring progress by how many new features get shipped. Instead, start demanding better decisions from your teams and partners. Demand clarity, demand foresight, because at the end of the day, the quality of the decisions will always, always determine the quality of the product.
So I'll leave you with this one last thought. The next time you kick off a project, I want you to ask yourself this simple question. Are you just paying for delivery for someone to check boxes off a list? Or are you truly investing in judgment, in a partner who has the wisdom and foresight to build something that's actually meant to last? The difference between those two things? Well, it's everything.